Hello and welcome back to Two Andrews, One Barbell. I'm gonna do the intro
I was
because
going to say, we haven't even done an intro in a while.
it's just I need to practice keeping the mic up to my face.
Oh, yeah.
We're back in the boner garage and we're gonna answer some questions regarding.
Well, let's
Q&A boxes
okay,
and
yeah,
stuff.
let's just like catch up on some stuff first. Though that's crazy. How are you going to go boner garage straight into questions and we're not even going to chat? How have you been? I've
I've been
seen
good.
you.
I've been really good.
Yeah.
You haven't seen me because I've been studying and shit.
Yeah.
Andrew, for those that don't know, I'm not talking about myself. I'm the third person. Andrew Blackwood trains during the day, if not super early.
Yeah.
Amongst all his other activities,
Mm-hmm.
climbing,
Yeah.
swimming,
Yeah.
dancing,
Yeah.
flipping,
Yeah.
handstanding,
Yeah.
and lifting.
Yes. I do them all. Hybrid athlete.
When I am training in the south side, which is actually the name of the gym.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you calling the gym the south side?
No, I meant the south side of Dublin.
Yeah.
AKA
Yeah.
the gym, south side. It's typically in the evening after I've done some academic work. Boo, yeah. So we don't really cross over as much.
No.
There might be some crossover today, but now that my lectures are finished, I finished my exam in higher cortical functioning.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Good. Went well.
Really good. Got to talk about the cerebellum.
Oh, yeah.
No.
The bad start.
No, very briefly.
Yeah.
What I did actually talk about, and which was really fun, was the basal ganglia.
The what?
You can't
The what?
You can't be serious,
Man, what
bro.
is it? Tell me again.
The basal ganglia.
Is that the thing that dangles at the back of your throat?
I'll be dangling at the back of your throat in a second, bro. Okay. Right. But I've been good. I did my exam and now just have to... Well, I'm actually correcting some exams. Did I tell you about that?
No.
My supervisor got on to me super late the other day and she was like, oh, someone just like kind of left me hanging here. They were supposed to correct the exam. So exams get corrected twice.
They left you gangling.
That was good. It was good. I didn't laugh, but I actually enjoyed that.
Took me a minute.
And exams basically get corrected twice by two examiners. So myself and a PhD student have split the exams in half, and then my supervisor will correct them all again. So I have 47 papers.
Man, God help those students where you're correcting their exam.
Why?
Man, you'd be drawing like cotton balls on the side of it and stuff.
Yeah, see, there is that side of, my personality that that my friends see. But then my supervisor thinks I'm, a well-established academic prince.
Man, academic prince. I wish we could, if I find this person's name, I'm sending them the link to the podcast, man.
She's definitely looked it up because I told her we had one. And she was like, oh. And I was like, it's like 200.
Terrible. Yeah, no, I wonder will we ever rename the podcast?
Two Andrews.
Yeah. Maybe just shorten it to Two Andrews.
Yeah. Two Johnnies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Two Bears, One Cave.
What's that mean?
That's the name of a podcast, man.
Open to interpretation.
Yeah.
But that's been me correcting some exams and then just gathering more participants. I think after today, I'm going to need 32 more people.
30. Man, that's so many. And how long do you have to do that?
It is. I have until the 20th of June.
That's not a lot of time to get that many people in.
It's not a lot one by one, but
Yeah.
if you, say if I manage to get 10 people from Southside,
Oh, okay.
that's a third of that done.
Yeah. But
So
are
it
you going to
takes
be able to do
groups.
that?
I don't know. I'm going to ask them later. Hopefully people listen and be like, yeah, find it in their goodwill.
Yeah.
I might also put it on Instagram again. I kind of put up a selfie a while ago. I was like, anybody want to do it?
Yeah.
So maybe if I put up the poster and I'm like, can people please do this? I might get a few more.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
You were about to say something.
Yeah, no, the selfie that you put up was kind of...
What was it?
Kind of out of pocket, man. I don't know. Someone showed me it and you had fucking jizz all over your head and stuff. It was kind of crazy. Man, if I saw that, I wouldn't be volunteering. Man, I was going to say I regret volunteering, but we need to actually get people who are going to sign up for this thing. So, yeah, everyone signed up. It's actually really fun.
Yeah.
You just will feel like an absolute... It's going to drop it again. Okay, I need to... You feel like an idiot. No, you feel like an idiot afterwards. You feel like an idiot.
Your result are not being compared to anyone else. It's within subjects design, so you're not being compared to Andrew or anything like that.
He has to say that.
I might go and get Andrew's results though, just for comparison.
Are you smarter than a 10-year-old?
Are you smarter than this buffoon? So how have you been?
Me? I've been great, brother. I've actually been really, really good.
Why really good?
I've been... Oh, man. I'm getting good at the climbing now.
Oh.
I'm flat out on the climbing.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm going 3 times a week.
That's a lot.
3 times a week minimum. And it's so fun because every time I go in, it's like I've just magically got better. It's like there's the other day I went in, me and my brother were like, oh, we'll just go for like a chill climb. This will be like just like a warm up climb, like a kind of technique thing. Maybe we'll just focus on some techie stuff. And I walked in, and it was like I'd unlocked like a new DLC to a video game. I was looking at routes that just wouldn't have even registered in my mind before as possible to attempt, and I was just banging them out. I was banging out the grade 6s, got a grade 7, just easy peasy. I was smoking the 6s.
How did that happen?
I think the more you do it, the more you adapt. You just start recognizing the positions that you got to be in, brother. I've done all the positions now.
Of course you have. Smoking 6s.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, it is actually, it's interesting seeing it. It's like my brain has unlocked a new ability to read the kind of the way I'd need to position my body to get through certain holds and climbs. And before, it was just like completely alien to me. I had no frame of reference, I had no context, I had no idea. And now I'm kind of getting there. I'm getting there. And I'd say there's the majority of the routes that are in the gym, they change them every week. I think they change they change like one wall every week, to my knowledge.
I didn't know that.
So one wall, they'll set new routes.
That's cool.
But I've done most of the routes. There's different types. The walls can either be like mostly straight up. They're kind of like this, like a overhangy position where you have to. They're the hardest ones because you're very heavy. Well, we're very heavy, and it's like if you're like 60 kilos, maybe it's easy because there's not as much stress on your fingers and your hands and your forearms and whatnot. Those ones suck. Then there's ones where the wall is like the opposite direction, and you have to like balance kind of flat out on the wall. I like those much more. They're easier to do for me because there's not as much like demand. It's kind of a little bit more technical. So it's so fun. So fun. Really enjoying that.
Is the easiest straight up? Or
yeah, probably.
Okay.
Straight up. Back, it sucks balls, man.
No, not back. I mean, like when you're.
Oh yeah, the other way. Yeah. I'd say they are probably a little bit more technical. The slabs, over or underhang. I don't know. Just the ones where you're like they're harder, and then there's kind of like straight up ones. Man, we're flying now.
Cool.
We're flying.
It's been cool to get some vids.
Yeah.
You monkeying around.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't have Instagram. I'll just send you something that I like. If it's something that I would have posted on my story, I'll just send it directly to you. That's how I get my like social gratification.
Did you send it to your mom or anything?
No, just you. And then Adam, you're because he's good at climbing.
Yeah,
man, I just spam Adam with climbing
videos.
Is, yeah.
I can imagine him just like sat there watching for hours. Go like.
But man, he'd be hyping me up. He's hyping me up like crazy. I love it.
Instead of Route 6. Oh my god, that jump!
Oh man, we're gonna
it
go.
Is cool to watch.
We're gonna go climbing. We're gonna go climbing, and that's gonna be really fun. I think once we get you on the wall, you'll really enjoy it. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Did I tell you we went bouldering a while ago?
Yeah.
And videos at the time.
And Cal.
Oh yeah, I did tell you.
Yeah, insane spider monkey.
Fuck that guy, man. You're looking good at everything, bro. Someone needs to take him down a notch.
Yeah, it's funny as well. Like if I'm being an iPad baby now and I'm like eating a meal, I'm watching bouldering videos.
Nice.
I'm watching videos on bouldering technique. I'm watching just like entertainment. There's a guy, Magnus Mitbo. Oh,
so you're not the chess player?
Magnus Carlsen's the chess player. But Magnus Mitbo, amazing. Okay. Oh, his videos are so good. He does like collabs with, he did one with like Eddie Hall. So he's like collabing with Eddie Hall. Matt does fitness.
Yeah.
What else has he done? Loads of people like that.
Oh, Matt does climbing videos. He's cool.
Yeah.
He's funny.
He is indeed.
He is funny.
The Gladiator.
Yeah.
So just flat out on those. I watched 2 YouTube videos recently that were super interesting. I don't know if you've watched them. One was from Jeff Nippard, where the premise of the video is it was like over the span of a year, he decided to train as like optimally as possible. He's like, how much progress can a natural lifter who has been training for 15 years, how much progress can they make if they just do everything optimally? So he had like laid out the year into like a 6-month bulk, then a planned like 3-month recomp, and then a 3-month deficit.
Okay.
And then he also got his brother to do it with him, who is untrained. to see what the difference would be from someone who's been training 15 years and then the difference with someone who is untrained and they just have no experience. That was really, really interesting and insightful. We can talk about it a little bit more. Have you watched it?
I haven't watched it. I seen that he posted on Instagram about it.
Yeah.
And someone was like, bro, you've gained no fucking muscle. And he's like, bro, how can you say that when I literally said I got a DEXA scan
and I gained
points.
5 pounds of muscle or something.
Yeah. It's like, damn, I wouldn't even lift if that was me. And his response got so many likes. He was like, what are you even talking about? Yeah. It's cool.
And then there was
watch that.
Yeah, there was one. I would highly recommend watching it and anyone listening as well. We'll dig into it a little bit and any of the thoughts that I had from it. Then there was another one from Mike Israetel on he got surgery to, I think, remove loose skin from like his lower back and like obliques because he got so heavy early on in his lifting career. When he was natty, he's like 5'6", and I think he got up to like 125 or 130 even, like very, very heavy. So he was saying how he has a lot of like loose skin in his lower back and like love handles and stuff like that and yada yada yada.
He looked like such a plum when he was walking around. That's hilarious. Interesting video though.
Quite interesting. And basically he was just detailing how nasty the surgery and recovery process was, and like you would need to really want to do that to go through it. But then he was saying how the results are like very significant. I think there was liposuction involved, to my knowledge, because he was explaining how when you get heavier past a certain point, basically like your fat cells, you say you have a given amount of fat cells, they enlarge like as you're getting heavier, but eventually they get so big that they have to undergo mitosis and then they split into 2 fat cells and then you have more fat cells.
Yeah.
But then if you lose that fat, you still like
have the cell.
The cell doesn't go away, it just shrinks. So that was what he was outlining was the problem for him. He still had a significant amount of like fat cells left over. So I think the process was like liposuction of removing that fat tissue. Very interesting. It kind of, the main thing I took away from that one was don't get too fat. Yeah. Because if you get too fat, you can do damage that like you would kind of need surgery to repair. Now, I also watched a video of someone critiquing Mike Israetel. I think it was, I'm going to make up the guy's name. I think his name was Lyle something. But apparently he was like good friends with Mike Israetel. Oh, we're getting into dramas. Basically, he was saying how he just needs to lose more body fat. He was like, if he just lost more body fat, it would go away. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But I would say it's still probably a good idea not to get too fat.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah. So you don't want to get too fat.
Don't get so fat that you need liposuction.
Yeah, basically. So that was an interesting video. But the Jeff Nippard one, found super intriguing. He got a DEXA scan at the very beginning, him and his brother. Then went into a 6-month bulk. Then got another DEXA scan at peak bulk.
Nice.
The brother gained, I'm going to make it up, but like a good amount of muscle mass. And he also gained some body fat, but I think overall his body fat percentage went down because of the amount of muscle mass that he gained. So that was good. He's somewhat like recomped because he had those like noob gains. Jeff gained, I'm going to make it up, let's say like 8 pounds of muscle, but I think he gained like 12 pounds of fat or something. So I was surprised at the amount of fat gain relative to muscle gain from the surplus. Then he went into a phase of like recomp, where I think he said he was eating at maintenance, and the idea or the goal was to essentially be like losing body fat and trying to see if he could increase muscle mass. He acknowledged that the likelihood is it's probably not going to happen. If you're eating at maintenance, it's probably not going to be significant enough to build any muscle mass for someone who's been training 15 years. Okay. As far as I know, the brother recomped a bit further, but I think Jeff didn't gain any muscle mass, and he might have potentially even gone up like another little bit of body fat. So to me, I don't know. I think that was one of the things that I came away with from looking at those results. Because I don't know, I've heard anyway, more recently than I had heard prior, of like don't bulk, just like gain, eat at maintenance and just like somehow build more muscle over time. to me, that just doesn't make sense. Because if you're eating at maintenance, how are you expecting to be building more muscle tissue? So I don't know. I think that reflected to me, okay, that's not a good strategy. If you want to be building more muscle, eat in a surplus. This whole like maintaining or like eating at maintenance and somehow magically hoping that you're going to continue recomping or like building a little bit more muscle, you're just going to spin your wheels. And I think that was evident in the DEXA scans for him. And then he did a cut afterwards, but he injured himself actually in the test because they were like testing his like force production. So you had like a leg extension where you just like apply as much force as possible. And he hit a PB and then he tried to like match it again and like popped a tendon in his knee or something. He was like, yeah, we didn't do a warm up and whatever. And he fucked up his knee. So then he was rehabbing during the cut. So like, that's obviously not going to be very good.
Optimal.
Yeah. So then when he got the DEXA scan after the cut, he had lost probably, I can't remember what it was, but like he was down like 6 pounds of muscle or something. Still net from the beginning of the like experiment the year before. I think he was up like 3 or 4 pounds total, but yeah, he lost a significant amount of muscle along with the body fat, but it was still up from what it had been prior. I would say the kind of recomp phase, waste of time. There's benefit to doing like a maintenance phase, I would say, just so you can like level out before transition into the deficit, but the recomp didn't seem to be too helpful. Interesting how much body fat he gained during the surplus. Interesting how much muscle mass he lost during the deficit. Overall, still gained some muscle. It was cool to see numbers like that. And that made me want to get a DEXA scan, which I did not realize it's so hard to do in Ireland.
I didn't realize that either.
Hopefully someone in Ireland can like help me out, because I was looking at all the places. I was like, DEXA scans in Dublin. I went on to like 5 different websites. Yep. All of them you need a referral. Like you need a referral from your GP.
So you go to your GP and say, I want a DEXA scan, and then pay him, and then he gives you a referral.
But like all of them are talking about like osteoporosis and like how it's for people who have like bone mineral deficiencies and blah blah. So like if I go to my GP and say, I want a DEXA scan, what's the likelihood he goes, oh yeah, you don't need one, by the way, that's €80, thanks for coming in to see me.
Yeah, ideally I understand that obviously the DEXA scan companies probably got say a grant from the government as like a health thing to set it up. No, maybe they actually intended to set it up as a like health screening tool as well, but yeah, it's annoying because where do all the bodybuilders get them?
Yeah, I know, they're just not here. So then I found a place that's in Limerick, which is like a 2-hour drive away from where we are, that does it. I was on the website, I was like, perfect, I'm going to book this in. And then went to go, because this person does the DEXA scan, but then he also does like VO2 max testing and blah, blah, blah. Went to go to like book in, where you book an appointment, and in the services, the DEXA scan is not there. So like the VO2 max, all the other testing is there for you to book an appointment. And I was like, what the hell? So then I emailed the guy and I was like, yo, I would like to book in a DEXA scan, please. I can't find it on the services where you book it in, even though it's on the homepage. What can we do? And then I have not heard back from him. Really? It's been like a week. I think I'll just email again.
Ring? Is there a number?
I'll look. Yeah, I'll look and I'll give it a ring, because I want to do that. Yeah. But I'd say I'll wait until like the end of the deficit to do it, so that I have the coolest results.
We were saying we wish he got one at the very beginning as well to compare. But
and I'm getting my bloods done on Friday.
Cool.
So that'll be good. It's like a specific package for like athletes.
Cool.
So the like biomarkers or whatever you call them that they're testing are probably a little bit more relevant to sports performance. There's like a baseline. There's like main ones that they test for like general health, and then beyond that, sports ones. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know that much about it. I'm hoping the blood test itself will be what shows me these are the things that should be on your radar, and then I can learn more about them from there, of whatever is particularly relevant to me. So that'll be exciting and interesting. But again, I wish I had done that in the beginning. I wish I had done that when I was super heavy, but I would have been I would have been petrified to see those results. Those results would have been like, you're gonna die. You have like a month left.
When you check your BMI and it's like, it doesn't give you a number. It's like, go to the hospital.
Man, okay, this is something that's been on my mind as well, because like coming up through all the years, you hear like, oh, BMI is stupid for people who go to the gym because it doesn't account for muscle mass and blah 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 blah. Yes, okay. So that was always my take. BMI is stupid. So even if I check my BMI, it's going to tell me I'm overweight. And then check my BMI and it's like, you're morbidly obese. And I'm like, well, I'm not. I'm just so jacked. And then it got to a stage where I was like, maybe I am obese. maybe this is a problem. Because then I started thinking, it probably puts like a lot of demand on your heart and your organs to be just carrying around this amount of mass. Even if you're like a professional bodybuilder and you're like, whatever, 8% body fat and you're 115.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like super stressful on your body. Like that's probably gonna affect your mortality or your life expectancy quite significantly. So even though it is muscle mass, I'm sure up to a certain point, there's a lot of health benefits of having muscle mass. But then I would say beyond that point, it's probably still very taxing on your system and would likely affect your life expectancy. Because I have heard before, I don't know how to approach the topic, of like, say someone who is like, say like very heavy, like 140, 150, 160,
With
170,
muscle or
180,
no?
with muscle, say that they're healthier than just like an average person who doesn't go to the gym. And that just like objectively couldn't be true. There's no way that amount of stress on all of your organs. There's just no way. But that was kind of the cope that I was falling into myself a little bit. I was like, yeah, I'm 117, but I go to the gym. I lift some stuff up and down like 10 times and then go home.
I sleep.
Over the course of 2 hours. Now, I'm sure, again, a lot of the behaviors that I have were...
super healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But carrying that much body fat, definitely not. Like, upon reflection, I'd say I was like 25 to 30% body fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just... It can't be good.
There's a lot going on there, what you said. I think the main killer there is the body fat. Like, yes, I do agree. I think, I believe that I think your like kind of natural fat-free mass index capacity is probably the upper limit of where the pro to con ratio of having that much muscle is still like significantly positive. And then when you start to surpass that with enhancers, it's like there's probably a reason your body doesn't naturally gain that much muscle.
Yeah.
It's because it's just so hard to have.
Yeah, it's so demanding.
And then when you keep going, it's like the demand to actually have that much muscle. Never mind like your habits and training. It's like the amount of like oxygen and sugar they need is far from efficient at all for any organism. It's only that obviously we're humans, like, and we can just give ourselves the things. But as animals, like, it wouldn't make sense to be able to get that big, because if you got that big, then how do you support that at all? And then your organs as well. I had never considered before. I think you brought it up recently in one of our chats on text about like visceral fat, like organ fat. I hadn't considered that before. And it's like, like even if you have all this muscle, it's like when you get to a certain body fat percentage, now underneath the muscle, you're fat as well. It's like it's around your organs and shit, and in your organs. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good. So there definitely is a line where, like NATTY, you're gonna hit your kind of fat-free mass capacity, or like it's gonna start like you're gonna gain super fast as you get bigger, and then it's gonna kind of reach like this like asymptotic, really slow gain that, whatever. And I'd say that's okay to have that much muscle mass, but the body fat percentage, it's definitely a line there as well. So if you have a ton of muscle mass and a ton of fat, imagine the difficulty your organs are going through. Yeah. And I think when I was growing up, again, I was always like, well, fucking, it's always better to have so much muscle. It's like, if your body had its way, right, it would be tiny. Yeah, it would be like... So that doesn't need to do anything.
I would be like 70 keys.
Yeah, if your body was at its most efficient in order to maintain homeostasis, it wouldn't be absolutely nothing at all, where like your immune system is ass because you have no nutrients, but it would be probably really small with like just enough muscle mass so that you can carry your body weight past a jog, so you can escape things. But it wouldn't require a high maintenance calorie at all. Yeah. And so us with more muscle mass, like with a high maintenance, is like it's cool that we have access to those calories, but it's not actually efficient for your body, I don't think. Yeah,
that's to me, that's a very cool topic. That's something that's good to think about. And I think if if we were like mainly concerned about longevity of our like lifespan and trying to live as long as possible, it would probably mean weighing 20 to 30 kilos lighter than I am now.
What do you think is like the healthiest layout of life for longevity? And that has to include happiness and stuff as well.
I would probably. Do you know what? It probably comes back to whatever the like general guidelines for activity are from
in general,
whatever the like governing bodies around health.
Yeah.
So like weight training 2 or 3 times a week, doing, I think they say like 30 minutes of aerobic activity a day. So like running or swimming or cycling or whatever it is. Yeah. So something like that.
Something like IROX. Kind of. Fuck.
Shit. The hybrid rock stars.
I don't want to be a hybrid rock star. A bisexual rock star. I don't want to do it.
And that's coming from Captain Metrosexual.
Okay. Anybody watching or listening? Am I metrosexual?
Man, you have to explain it for them. They probably won't even
I don't even fucking know very well. I think I sent Adam a selfie one time out of nowhere, and he was like looking metrosexual. I was like, the fuck? I had to look it up. And I think it's like people who live in specifically Western society that engage in like typically feminine.
That's all right, man, with your nose ring.
But you're not
fine,
gay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's like my nose ring, my earring, my hair, he said. Yeah. My beard is well trimmed.
Yeah. Man, that's fine. You're just a well-groomed man.
I feel like that's somewhat backhanded or something.
You're just a fruity guy, bro.
Maybe.
That's fine, man. That's fine. I think it's a good thing.
So how do we get to this? Before metrosexual?
Yeah. Yeah, just like longevity. Your man, do you know the guy who's like trying to like extend his lifespan? Yeah. And he looks so creepy. He looks gross.
Have you seen him talk? And he's like...
Brian Johnson or something.
Yeah, he's like, I'm 50 and I'm younger than all of you guys. Yeah. No, but then, you're not, dude. But you're white. But actually pasty. Like, not even like white, like by standard. You're actually like paint white. Chalk white.
Yeah. But then you see like his daily routine. And it's like all this, it's like miserable. It's like a miserable daily routine. Where I don't even know it, but it just, what is your quality of life at that stage? And then it brings up the whole, that whole topic of, okay, what is the trade-off between quality of life and living a long life? Like, would you want to live a long life if the long life is kind of like boring and miserable and you don't do anything? Or would you rather live like a shorter life where you enjoy more stuff, you kind of get jacked, you, I don't know, take more risks, whatever it is?
Would you live forever if you could?
Oh, great question. And you'd be, nothing would mean anything. Life would be horrible. You'd see all your loved ones pass away.
Everything loses its meaning because the meaning we prescribe is only within the parameters that we live.
Yeah. So what? Like, why would you do anything?
Would have nothing would matter.
Would you learn everything that there is to learn? But like, what's the point? Like, you'd
get there.
But you'd be like, oh, I'll do it in 100,000 years. Like, you'd be the ultimate procrastinator. Why would I do that now when I could do that?
You don't need to do anything right now.
10 million years.
And your relationships don't matter. It's like there'll be another person.
Yeah, you'd be the ultimate hedonic treadmill because you could just do whatever.
Yeah. Then you'd also start to hate that.
Yeah, and then nothing would be fulfilling. You'd see all your loved ones pass away.
Yeah.
I think that's way scarier to me than me passing away, watching loved ones.
Fair enough. Because you're just gone.
Yeah.
Very interesting. There's 2 things that made me think of. Have you watched Loki?
Yeah.
Season 2?
Yeah.
And he like at the end he's in a loop.
Yeah.
So he has to learn everything. Yeah. So it takes like 1,000 years. That's crazy. And after like 1,000 years he's like, okay, I know everything.
Now I get it. Yeah.
And then that's crazy. And then I know you're not going to watch Invincible.
Yeah.
But one of the main characters is like portrayed as this evil person. But I only thought about it after I was like reflecting on it. It's like this guy is essentially immortal. He's lived for like thousands of years. And he's like made evil because of his perception of human life is just like insects or whatever. And his son is like, insects. Are you, incest. Insects. And his son's like, are you crazy? Like, you know, these are people. And he's like, they don't matter. They're like a speck in my life. It's like, and everybody was like, no, this guy's evil. That's awful. If you lived forever, you would lose. Like right now, we inherently value human life more than say a bug.
Yeah.
Why? Because a fly lives for like 26 hours.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't mind a fly dying.
Yeah, man. Andrew just be squishing them. Andrew goes looking for them so he can squish them. It's horrible. I've seen it firsthand.
You eat them. So
good source of protein. Have you seen that? I've seen those futuristic things where it's like, yeah, let's get like protein from ants or something like
Futuristic?
from grubs. Like,
I've seen me doing that now. Yeah, apparently it's awfully low protein. It's like
you need 100,000 bugs like to get 10 grams of protein.
it's like when people say, you know, Coke Zero is going to kill you and you have to drink like 50 liters a day. Yeah, man, it will.
Yeah,
If I don't drown. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
There's a guy running across Australia. His mom died and he said, fuck, I'm going to run across Australia for charity and beat the like record. And he has to essentially run something like 100 kilometers a day.
Fuck.
For a month.
Yeah. Have you seen the hardest geezer? Ran across the whole length of Africa.
What?
Yeah. He got kidnapped and everything. On it.
The filming company had to pay ransom halfway
Man,
through.
there wasn't even a filming company. It was just him and his boys. Like the boys were. I said, this is what happened. They're in a van,
Yeah.
and he just runs 20 kilometers, and they have like a next meetup point.
Yeah, yeah.
They went to like the next.
He wasn't there?
He wasn't there. but apparently he was running, and they like two like guys on a motorbike like pulled up beside him.
No way.
I can't remember. I don't want to butcher it. I can't remember the full story.
Yeah.
Look at it. He was on the Diary of a CEO podcast talking about it. Basically, anyway, he got on the back of the. I think they told him, "Oh, like we know where your friends are. Your friends are like up ahead. They got lost. Hop on the back of the motorbike." And he was like, "No. I think they might even have had a machete or something." Anyway, he got on the back of the motorbike, and they drove like 10 hours into the jungle. Like 10 hours into the jungle. Oh, crazy. You'd be petrified. He's like, I thought I was dead.
Yeah, of
He's like,
course.
I thought I was going to die.
Of course.
So go look up that one as well. The
that's
hardest
crazy.
geezer getting kidnapped.
The hardest geezer. That's what I
He's
call
just
you.
a ginger fellow, long hair from the UK. Just ran the whole length of Africa. Crazy.
It's mad.
Yeah.
That's some like historical story.
Oh, insane. And then I went back and I started watching the YouTube, because he basically the crew, like his friends in the van, they made like YouTube videos the whole way. Mad. Insane.
I think the only reason I brought that up, not only is
Sorry,
it like
yeah,
an
I
incredible
cut off your
feat. No, it's fine. They're both incredible feats. But he like
You love incredible feet, man.
you've incredible feat. He just like has cigarettes and beer when he gets to the van though. It's like, dude is one of the fittest people ever. And someone was like, what are you going to do when you cross the finish line? He's like, probably have a cigarette.
Is he
And
Australian? Is he Australian?
Yeah.
Man, when I lived in Australia, right?
Just cigarettes and beer.
I was in like this kind of rural place. It was during COVID. Basically, someone managed to get me a job at like furniture removal.
Yeah.
And basically, you get in the truck and you might have to be moving someone's house in Melbourne. It's like a 4-hour drive away. So you drive in the truck 4 hours to Melbourne. You move someone's house. You literally pack up all their stuff into the house, like all their beds, their furniture, stuff in boxes, everything. You're moving someone's house. Pack it in, then you drive 2 hours to wherever their new house is. You unpack everything. It's like an 18-hour day. Crazy.
Yeah.
Then you drive 4 hours back. Man, there'd be people in the yard in the morning where there's like all the shipping containers and you go to like get in the truck. There'd be people in there like 7 a.m. drinking cans of beer, man. The other drivers drinking cans of beer at 7 a.m. in the morning, about to go do a full shift. Man, they'd be drinking cans of beer like just while they're driving. Just keep them going, like.
Man.
I think there's a real problem with them doing like amphetamines and stuff like that when they're driving too, just because it's long days, man.
Man.
So they're getting wired in the truck.
Have you heard, a tree falls the way it leans?
No.
Well, I love a can of Monster. That's all I'm saying. Irish people love a can of Monster.
So you're saying you're just like a hop, skip, and a jump away from doing that?
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Bad day. One bad day and you're just snorting as you drive, stay awake. Fuck me.
Man, apparently that's a big thing in like medicine as well. Do you know the way people, like doctors, have to work like these crazy shifts, or like surgeons and stuff?
Yeah.
You gotta keep going somehow if you're doing like a 24-hour fucking shift, brother.
I was about to say, should that be legal? It's like, probably not, because they're doing damage to their health as well.
And they're probably doing damage to the fucking people that they do. Someone comes in to get their right knee replacement. And
Get a left.
Yeah, they get a left, and then they have to go back in and get the other one done as well. We actually noticed there was something wrong with your other leg, so we did that one for free. Don't worry about it. Oh, thanks.
Legs
so
are
much.
aim in different directions.
Yeah.
Do you think this could open a big can of worms regarding like pharmaceutical companies and everything like that?
Yeah.
But
medical mistrust.
yeah, peptides and stuff.
Yeah.
Like say BP.
Oh yeah, should
that
that
should
be
just
good to
be
go?
prescribed.
Yeah.
but of course it would ruin a lot of medicine.
Yeah. Oh, brother.
So it won't be allowed. I heard it was like taken.
Fuck, is that the FBI at the door? Man, they're coming to kill us. They're coming to get us.
It was taken off like the market or something because it had like something wrong with it. Bullshit.
Yeah, because it was too good, man.
Because it's too good.
Because it actually worked.
Yeah, we need to make it worse, and that has a side effect that we have medicine to fix.
Oh, we're laughing, but yeah. Anyway.
Just sounds like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's like you would be injecting people left, right, and center with that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting one. It's a can of worms. Mm-hmm. Think about that for yourself. Ponder that one, guys. Ponder that one. I don't know. I'm not saying nothing. but I was about to ask. I'm sweating. Yeah.
Are you sweating?
A little bit. My arm here, my armpits.
Yeah. Wherever my arm's resting. I was going to take off my shoes. I was going to say, you mind if a boy takes off his shoes?
Yeah, man. Take off shoes.
Gets a little comfy.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I was going to say, when we were in Malta for Worlds,
do
you remember the heat? Andrew was carrying his 117 ass around in like 40 degrees, man.
Oh, I was.
He couldn't open his eyes. The sweat was so thick. Bro, I was about to drown.
I weighed in like 4 kilos lighter because I had lost so much sweat.
Can you imagine that? 4 kilos of
sweat.
When
you were waiting like outside of the warm-up area, like where the weigh-in area.
Yeah.
Like a sauna. Yeah. Man, when the 120s were weighing in, oh my God. It was like a scene at the zoo or something. It was horrible. Yeah. That was crazy. It was as soon as you got off the plane as well. Just instantly, it was kind of a little bit humid as well. Man, I'd be flying now. And fit as a fiddle.
Yeah, Andrew fucking weighed in his noons, like in his skin and bone.
Man, nuts out. We tried to convince like a few guys in their first comp that you had to. We were like, you have to weigh in stark naked. Like you have to get your full kit off. Like you're not allowed weigh in your jocks.
Well, when I did, normally the scale is like you step on it and it has like a pole with like the numbers up about like belly level. Yeah. This one just had the numbers on the floor. Yeah. So your man came over and had to like lift the package out of the way to see the numbers on the floor. Crazy.
That's insane. Man. You had to just
got a tweezers.
The Princess and the Pea.
Can you move that, sir? Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like there's other good stuff to talk about. What did we start talking about here? BPC? Moving the package out of the way?
we were going to answer some questions on this podcast. How long does it do?
No, we're only like 40-something minutes in.
Yeah, man, I'm sweltering here.
Man, do you know what I started doing? I've been doing handstands.
I know you have.
Man, I think people maybe underestimate how good I'd be at handstands.
I think they did.
Yeah. Man, they didn't know. They didn't know I had that in me. I'll be busting out the 10 seconds on the regular.
Of course you do.
Yeah. I'm busting out the 10 seconds.
What would you say your success rate would have been at 117?
I'd say I would have got injured.
Broke your shoulders?
Yeah, probably. Like, okay, one of the things is, like, say when you're upside down and you're falling, like, you're going to fall on your back. You have to like dig your fingers into the ground.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been strong enough to offset that weight.
Your center of gravity would have been way different.
Just bizarre, like weird. All my belly like hanging one way.
Do you know where the average center of gravity is on someone's body? What percentage of the way up their body is it? Yes.
Well, surely it would depend how long their limbs are. An average, like how? Yeah. What is an average? Like, okay, let's say an average person's like 5'9".
Sure.
And they have not like super long femurs. Surely it's like you're maybe a little bit above like the like your fupa.
You're doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's about the fupa, is it?
It's around your sacrum.
Yeah.
And it's approximately 55% of your height.
Man, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, just like a little bit.
Yeah. Why'd you say fupa?
The fatty upper pubic area.
I have a PT client.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting the fan out. Getting the fan out. Oh my god.
See, do you know what? I'm actually not really even sweating that much. I think it's just because you're super heavy, bro. You're heavier than me now. And I'm so
Anyone listening, what does that sound like you just said?
What?
You're just super fat. And you're sweating because you're super fat.
Yeah.
Andrew is now probably a lower body fat percentage than me.
What can I say, brother?
Oh my god. I'm getting blown away.
And the fan is on.
Oh, yeah. What was I even saying? Oh, this PT client introduced me to developing your flab, your front lower ab.
I like that.
My front lower ab is pretty.
It's pretty flabby.
Pretty thick. It's my flab.
I like that. That's
Anyway.
clever. Yeah, let me check. Handstands going well.
Yeah.
The next thing that I started practicing was kip up. Do you know the thing where you're like lying on your upper back and then you click your feet in the air?
Yeah.
I must have tried that for about 2 hours straight. I broke my shoulders.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And my neck, because you're trying to like whip yourself up. I think I gave myself whiplash.
Did you get any?
I would like land on my feet and then fall on my ass.
Okay.
But the next day, I couldn't turn my head. I couldn't like lift my head up. Even if I was not sitting like completely vertical, where my head is like stacked over the rest of my body, if I was like leaning forward, that would hurt to like hold my head up.
Yeah.
And then my shoulders, they didn't just feel like sore, they were like borderline injured. They like, it felt like I had done something. It felt like I had like arthritis in my shoulder, because you're in like this tucked up position trying to like produce force. It just doesn't work.
No, crazy.
So yeah, that was very interesting. But I'm gonna get that. That's gonna be the next one. Once I get that, then it's backflip time.
Nice.
Yeah, then we're cooking. What else? I'm doing a few like nutrition courses at the moment. I've been doing them over the last few months.
Yep. Like what?
Specialist kind of courses on behavior change psychology.
Cool.
Big one. Bing bang boom. Like that a lot.
Nice.
One on sports nutrition, and I'm doing one on metabolic health at the moment. Fascinating. Very fascinating.
Tell me more.
I feel like I'm like you. I feel like I'm in college.
Oh, because you're like...
Yeah, just be learning. I'm learning like smart stuff. Yeah, I'm learning like a lot of this. So much of it is just not about food, really. Yeah, so the majority of the study on these like nutrition courses is nothing about food.
Okay,
it's just not about it. The vast majority is about like psychology,
cool,
behavior change psychology,
yeah.
Why people act the way that they do, how to coach people to change their behaviors. Yeah, just understanding why people tend to do the things that they are doing. What sort of things are going on within your body that would contribute to those actions. How it's like so much more complex than just like eat less food and move more. Even though that is true if you want to like boil it down to that.
So if you were to give me like an elevator pitch on dietary behavior change.
Basically, okay, do you know what's funny? You learn like this so much like complex like chemistry and hormonal shit, and it basically always just comes back to eat more fruit and veg. Like everything is coming back to eat more fruit and veg, and then eat more fruit and veg. That's basically it. Eat more fruit and veg. Be like kinder and slower with making changes. Don't try to change too much shit at the one time. Take on board when you're like coaching someone. Basically give them as much autonomy as possible to select the behaviors that they feel they can change. So like what is like the lowest hanging fruit that you feel like ready, willing and able to address, going from there. And just basically move in the direction like along a spectrum of eat more whole, minimally processed foods. And that like takes care of everything else. Sleeping enough, eating whole, minimally processed foods, and that umbrella takes care of almost everything. Like you learn about all these metabolic conditions, and it's like if you do these, you have like 95% of your bases covered.
It's difficult because you and I know after years that or kind of the underpinnings of why they matter and what happens when you eat no fruit and veg and what happens when you sleep.
But even then, like learning this, it's like, oh, because you always hear eat more fruit and veg. I'm like,
but it's like because this is what I mean. It's because we're not explaining why.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're just giving me the healthy points.
Yeah.
It's like but it's like it's deeper than that.
Yeah. So I think I will start making more like specific content on that.
Yeah. YouTube.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Because it seems like it's like, oh yeah, but my mom's been telling me that since I was 5 years old.
Your mom doesn't even know why.
Yeah. It's like, it's nothing. That's not special information. There's something else that I need to know. There's some special trick that I need to know. Yeah. And then I had a guy sign up with me for nutrition recently. Yeah. Super interesting.
Oh yeah.
I think he listens to this as well. So
he's a werewolf.
Shout out to David if he's listening. Yeah. But has like a super rare metabolic condition where I'm gonna butcher it, but essentially he like can't eat protein. That's like that. Okay, that's how I'm gonna describe it. He just can't eat protein because when he eats protein, the way that it metabolizes, it is essentially like poisonous.
Crazy.
The kind of like whatever it makes in that process.
Yeah.
And so he just cannot eat protein.
Okay.
Nuts. That's crazy. And what's even weirder is there's someone. Do you ever have like a kind of a distant-ish relative, and it's like so awkward to explain what the actual connection is? Just call him a relative. There's a relative of mine who's like born, has the same condition.
Really?
And there's less than 100 people in Ireland who have it. Less than 100 people in the country who have it. So that's crazy. And it's been super interesting learning from him what goes into it. So I was like, we can't eat protein. What the hell? So he can have like up to a certain threshold of protein from the foods that he's eating, because obviously when you're eating food, like there's protein in bread. Yeah. So can't eat bread because there would be too much for the daily intake. So you'd have to get like protein-free versions of all this stuff, or like pasta, or whatever. So like learning through that, and then the way that he gets protein in, because when I heard about the relative who was born with this, I was like, how the hell are they gonna grow up if you can't eat protein? It was like the building block for your body.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah.
But learning from him, there's like a synthetic, like medical protein substitute kind of supplement that you would have. So we get the majority of our protein intake from that.
Okay.
You might get
what
like
is it?
150. I presume it's like a gel or like a powder.
Suppositories.
That's crazy. I'll ask him what the actual form of it is.
Yeah.
But get like 150 grams of protein or so from that.
Oh wow.
And then the rest of the protein intake, maybe 15, 20 grams, might come from the other foods that he's eaten throughout the day. And then the body is able to like process that, and then very interesting, the protein substitute. Very interesting.
So does he like digest the protein?
I think when you're digesting the protein, there's like it's something. I'm gonna fuck up the name of the thing that is like metabolized, but when too much of that builds up, then it's it's harmful.
That's insane.
Yeah, so that's been super interesting. But yeah, it's also
do they train or just nutrition client?
Yes, they train. So they do powerlifting.
Wow.
So yeah, very interesting.
Fair
I just have them for nutrition.
Yeah.
So that's super cool to learn about.
Fair. Anyway, that's cool.
Yeah,
I respect that, because it seems like something that a lot of people just like, fuck this.
Yeah, and it's so rare. Like that would be super hard to get information on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's fucking what's going on in my world.
That's
what's going on in my world.
That's a difficulty with like the more rare condition, the more difficult it is to actually know
get,
about
it.
There's a PhD student in the psych labs in UCD, and she's doing research on people who have a stutter and have some like motor deficiency in their jaw. Oh. There's only like
a
handful of people in Ireland with that. So it's like her trying to get participants. You would need to be willing, I feel like, because they have to come in. So how are you supposed to convince someone from Donegal to come into UCD?
In the nutrition course, they were talking, or was it? Where was it that I learned about this? I think it was in the nutrition course. There was someone who had a specific condition that meant that they, for whatever reason, had like no body fat on their limbs. Like on their limbs, they just carried no body fat. But they also, it affected like their muscle building. So they were just like super frail. They were like a super frail person. Why are you laughing?
Mike Wazowski.
God, it doesn't look like that, I guess. But they were looking, so I can't remember again the full story. I'm going to be fucking it up. But it was super rare condition that they have. They thought that it only applied to men. But there was this girl who was like, no, I'm adamant that this is applying to me. Went to a load of doctors. They were like, no, this only happens to men. Can't be you. She basically like pioneered it and found someone who was researching it. They were in like Canada. Yeah. Found someone in Italy who was researching it. And then they did loads of tests on her, like genetic testing. Found out, yes, you do have this. And then it's this whole new condition that applies to females as well. She then said that she saw a like Olympic sprinter who looked like they had the same condition, but she was like incredibly muscular, but she had like the same no body fat on her limbs for some reason. She was like, this looks really like, I would love for her to get genetically tested to see if there is a crossover between what we have and why. For me, I haven't been able to build muscle mass, but she seems like she's been able to like overdevelop muscle mass, but still has this other condition that's affecting the fat development on the limbs. Anyway, it was like kind of she went through the process of getting onto the person's agent, and they were really hesitant because they're like, there's this crazy woman who says that she has the ultra rare condition where she can't build muscle, and she thinks you have the same condition even though you're like exact opposites. The lady agreed to do the testing a little bit reluctantly and found out that it was the same condition that they had, but she had this like one tiny gene mutation that allowed her to build crazy amounts of muscle, and she was probably on gear as well. But
I was going to say,
yeah. Wow. That's very interesting. Like super rare conditions. But I think it took like 10 years of this lady like being adamant that I have this thing, and all these like doctors and surgeons and everything are telling me that I don't have this thing, but I swear to God I know it. And then she just saw like a picture of someone on Facebook, an elite athlete, and she was like, I know she has this condition. And everyone's like, you're insane. You're actually nuts. And then she got it tested, and then she did. So yeah, that'd be wild.
Very, very interesting. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Anyway, if you think you have a special condition,
get on to us.
Yeah, Andrew will figure it out.
Yeah, you will.
I wish you the best if you one of those special conditions, man. What's the single belief that most changed how you train?
I feel like those inflection points happen frequently over the course of your training career. Maybe not over the course of a few months. You might hit one and then it changes for a long time. And then you hit another one that changes things. Most recent, I was just like, I'm not going to take a part in my coaching at all. And I stopped interpreting or appraising my sessions at all. Just did them. And also just let Adam completely rewrite my program, and didn't input, didn't have opinions, didn't anything. Even if I thought something, I was like, oh, I'm going to be sore on that day because it just left it. And I've been doing it, and the last 2 months has been the most enjoyable my training has been since before Worlds and Euros.
I like that.
Yeah, it's been good.
I like that.
Yeah, just leaving it. Just like, fuck it. It's like, because I sat there, I was like, oh, I think Adam could coach any lifter, both at Sheffield or at an open comp in random county in Ireland. He is like, he's top tier, in my opinion. So it's like, there's no way I'm 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000. Let him do his thing. And then, if after a year I'm dog shit, it's his fault. No, if after a year it's like, if it's on me, then I need to figure something out. But let's not make it on me. Let me just like be an athlete for a while. How I'd want an athlete to respond to my program, and just do it. So I've been doing it.
I like that.
It's also helped. I've thought of this before, but I never took it as seriously. But constant appraisal makes you kind of like manage these micro things that in a longer term don't matter. So instead of sending, because you kind of get into this habit, and my lifters do it to me, it's fine. But most of them are better at it than me. They'll like send your lifts as you train to your coach. But then I was also praising them as I did so. And so what I'd end up doing is every time I train, I had like this summary of my training, which was like often negative, especially when you're experiencing kind of downward trends in your training. Then it's just a loop, because it's like, oh, well, every training session is bad now because I'm appraising it. Whereas I started just sending things to Adam at the end of the week. Here's all my lifts. It's like I wouldn't even remember the bad things from during the week. Bad. And then now there are no bad things. It's just,
I like that.
Here's my training.
Yeah,
I did it.
Insightful.
It's good. Interesting.
Damn.
You?
So just fucking take it easy and keep training.
Try to just not be magnifying glass in your training. Trust your coach.
Creating issues where they aren't there.
It's like, okay, sometimes there has been, and okay, maybe it's hard because we're in a position where we've trained for so long. We have made a lot of like learning points about our training, so we don't really need to learn much more. But if you are in a similar position, just trust your coach. And then if after a long time you're not making progress, then maybe have the conversation that just don't let it be because you're getting in your own way, essentially. But get out of your way. And then after a long time, if something's wrong, it's not because you're in your own way.
Damn. For myself, single belief that most changed how I train. See, it's not how I train, but probably one of the initial beliefs was the importance of nutrition. And I was like, yep, training is only like 50% of this. And then I started realizing, oh, you probably don't even need to train that hard if you're actually moving in the direction with nutrition that you want to be going. If you are in a surplus and you're in like an anabolic kind of training environment, it's not that you need to just like train harder. That's what I thought. I used to have this like relationship in my head of, if I want to be getting stronger, I just need to like train harder. Training needs to be like more difficult, more grueling, more of a grind. And then I realized, oh, I can just like hit this like baseline level of training within a few reps of failure, train like relatively comfortably. And if I'm in a surplus, I make tons of progress. Yeah. So the importance of nutrition, and when that is dialed in, how much progress you can make, not overemphasizing the training side of things, not pushing so hard in training. That was a big one initially. Single belief that the training process is not that precise. I used to think it was like a super scientific fucking, again, like we've used the analogy of like trying to snipe like a specific amount of stimulus, and you need to like be in this perfect like golden like zone to make progress. And if I wasn't making progress, it's because I was missing the magic like training layout. Now my understanding of it is more, it's just like a shotgun blast in the general area of, we want to challenge the body enough that the body goes, oh fuck, we need to get better doing this thing. And then you supplement that with adequate nutrition, adequate recovery through your sleep and stress management and whatnot. And if you were in that general range, you'll probably move in that direction. It's not something that's super precise. Same goes for like RPE. RPE does not need to be super, like I fell victim to this a lot of the time. Like, was that RP 7 or was it RP 7.5? Oh my God. Or was it RP 7.25? Like, overthinking those kind of things, it don't matter. Like, if over the long term you're just shotgun blasting in that general direction of, you're able to challenge your body a bit and then you're able to recover from it, that's probably all that we need to do. So that, then, yeah. I'd say they're probably two of the most like fundamental things that have influenced training. The importance of building muscle mass, obviously. If you just have bigger muscles, you'll probably be stronger. Do that. Yeah. Like try to boil them down as much as possible. Super basic things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what comes to mind for me. Single beliefs.
I don't know if I have any add-on questions there.
Would you still lift if nobody ever saw your numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Explore that.
It's just like it is my form of activities. Yeah, let me imagine. No one ever saw. So you're training in a gym where no one is looking. Likely to be the case if you're...
Let's even step it up a notch. You have a home gym.
Home gym, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Unless I found a different pursuit of physical, not only, fitness. And in that, I assume, I would say most people want to get the most out of their fitness, as in they want to see how good they can get at something. So right now that's lifting. Yeah. So I just keep doing it while I still like it. I guess it's interesting. Maybe it's so ingrained because we've been powerlifting for how long? 8 years.
8 years.
That, has it been 7 or 8 years?
Don't know.
I think it's 7.
Yeah. See, it kind of varies as well, because how long were you doing powerlifting training before you did your first comp? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to think. I essentially think that there might be some variance over time. So let's say if you were to never compete again, that's the other thing.
So, no. This is an extra one because I think this is juicy. Would you still powerlift if you knew you'd never hit another PB?
I think no.
Yeah.
I think if you know you've completed something and there's no more gain to be made, you wouldn't do something anymore.
Yeah. That was the position that I felt like I was in over the last few months, where I was like, in my head, I was like, if I want to hit a PB, I would probably have to be up that heavy again. And I know I don't want to get that heavy again. So,
do you think you could squat 320 at 105?
No.
Really?
My squat is the one that is so correlated to body weight that I don't think so.
But it's also correlated to the fact that like you've been cutting for a while. Like, what if you gained?
But like, it went up when I was heavier. Like it saw like the increases with the increase to my belly.
So what if you increase your belly up to 105?
I don't think it would be big enough to support that amount of weight.
Oh,
Yeah,
bro.
I do. I fully believe that.
I think you would squat 320 at 105.
Man, my PB at 105.
It's 30.
No. It was 280.
But what were you when you squatted 300 for the first time?
108 and a half. 109.
Oh, I think.
Man, when I've been going to the gym the last
I know.
month, I've been squatting 120. You think I'm joking?
No, I know you're being serious.
But the singles, I've hit a few singles between 220, 240, and then my back offs have been between 120 and 170. And my body feels like a rusty gate. But I think squatting is the one that was always most unnatural for me. I think I don't have a great build for squatting, if I'm honest. It got better as I got bigger, and you kind of, Joey has the thing where he talks about like kind of out muscling your leverages. I was doing that to a certain degree, but then I was also out bellying my leverages, where everything was just so big and fat that like I had way more support, I had way more compression. As I'm smaller, my belt is down like 8 notches. It's like I just don't have enough mass there to support heavy weights. It just feels like so much on my back. Now I am also factoring in that I've been in a deficit. I've been in energy restriction for the better part of 6 months, and I'm down 20 kilos now. Crazy. So obviously it's not going to feel too good, but I don't think I could squat 320 at 105. Or I think the amount of work and time it would take to get there, I couldn't care about doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
As in, like, I want to support you in every pursuit, so long as it's making you as happy as possible.
Now, that's me saying this right now on the fucking 20th of May in 2025.
Yeah.
Who knows, in 3 months, maybe I'm like, let's get it on. Yeah. Let's get that 320 squat. Who knows? But yeah, as of right now, how I feel squatting, it feels very correlated to my belly. So, and you always hear people saying that your bench goes down when you cut. That's waffle.
Man, I started thinking the other day, I think squats are most correlated to body weight.
Yeah, 100%.
I think the only reason bench goes up when people bulk is because they're actually just eating enough to grow.
Yeah. Because for a long period of time, they just probably weren't building any more upper body mass. Yeah. So bench probably goes up more when you get, but squat goes up more when you get heavier as well.
Squat, yeah.
I think it's way more sensitive to body weight. I think.
And it seems that deadlift tends to hit a wall when you gain.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it just gets harder. Your arms start feeling like they're shorter.
Yeah.
I was trying to get ChatGPT to explain that to me, like what's actually going on with like your mechanics that makes that happen. Like why are lockouts like super hard for super heavyweight lifters? And they were explaining because you have so much like body mass that to get it like over your legs and your gut, if basically the bar is actually quite far away from your like center of gravity. So that is basically why there's just so much there. Whereas when you're like slimmer, it's just much closer to that point of your shoulders, the fulcrum and whatever.
Yeah.
For a bigger person where their legs, it's like it's far away from your body. You're holding a lot of weight in a position that's far away from your body. Whereas for slimmer people, it's much closer. It's like holding your shopping way out here versus.
You can get it out of you can get it off the floor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Adam copped onto that a bit, and it's like by the time you're approaching lockout, you are so far away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's just really far in front of you. It's like holding a dumbbell doing like a front raise way out here. As opposed to being close to your chest. Yeah.
Yeah. And then people's.
And then there's a lot more friction as well. It's tough on your hands, and
it is the thighs, I think, for definite. Yeah. It's like people's deadlift technique would not change at all, and if they gain 20 kilos, they're getting stuck in their thighs.
I had to start rolling the bar into me. To like set up properly. I didn't even know I was doing it. I just had to start setting up further away from the bar because it started feeling better. And then people were like, "Why do you roll the bar in?" And I was like, I didn't even know I started doing it. I guess it's just because I'm fat.
Here's one, man. Here's one. I saw a video the other day of a guy saying he was arguing that sumo shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
And I'm not making that argument.
Yeah.
But he was saying because the age old thing of sumo being too easy, or easier than conventional. It's gotten to the point now where 83s are outputting 120s, and the drop off. Now we just said so whether they're pulling sumo or conventional, heavyweights are like disadvantaged to deadlift. Like when you get to a certain body fat percentage, if you're 120 and like 15-20% body fat, I don't think it's happening as much. It's because in order to be 150, you probably have to carry enough body fat. But it's getting to the point that sumo pullers at 83 kilos are going to be way stronger than 120.
True.
That's mad.
But there's also conventional pullers who are that light, who are pulling crazy numbers. There's a guy in the UK, and God love him, he had a very bad injury. I think he like blew both his knees out. But conventional puller, I'm pretty sure he
James
pulled.
put up a picture with him.
Yeah.
James was
Kunz?
flexing his quads.
Yeah.
Yeah, James has big legs.
Yeah.
And
this
he was
poor guy
willingly
after-
flexing his quads next to this guy who has no knees.
He had been in like both
wheelchair.
both his legs jacked up
That's insane.
for weeks or months. But yeah, he was a conventional puller, 83, pulled in my brain, I'm pretty sure like 360, 370. So yeah, incredibly strong. That was very sad to see that happen to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of strong deadlifters who are lighter, just better leverages and whatnot.
Yeah.
I haven't found my deadlift feeling too good now as I've come down. Everything just feels. I've no. When you're in deficit, when you're in deficit, you've no desire to lift heavy weights. No. Like my accessories are all getting stronger, but it's because they're not as demanding. You don't have hundreds and hundreds of kilos on your back or in your hands. Yeah.
Cool.
Everything just feels kind of.
Are you gonna do a high rocks?
No. Nah, it's too hard. I would need to completely restructure my training. You'd need to be a runner.
Have you ran at all?
No.
You haven't even tried a little bit of jogging?
Nah, not even once. I would probably need to come down another 20 kilos before I'd even consider it, to be honest.
Another 10.
Maybe.
If you were
man, do you know what I felt more compelled to do? Bodybuilding show.
Oh yeah.
That's another YouTube video that I watched. This was some bangers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now, I'd say 95% of what I watched is boulder and stuff, but I watched 3 good YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Mike Gerstel, the Jeff Nifford, and Will Tennyson.
Oh yeah.
Did his bodybuilding comp. That was very cool to see. Because I believe he's natty. He competed in a natty show.
Yeah.
And I believe he's natty. Yeah. But he is someone who I could probably relate to in terms of like his build and his stature. And he said when he was younger, I think he said he got up to around like 120 anyway. And then seeing him getting ready for a show, being super lean, around like 80 kilos, maybe it was like a little bit under 80. I was like, yeah, that's maybe something that I could do. That seems like attainable. Now, it seemed miserable. He was talking about how he was on like such low calories and he has no desire to do anything. All he thinks about is food all day.
Brain fog.
Yeah. You just like, you have no, everything is just like, you look great. Being in the gym is miserable. You have no energy, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, maybe that would put me off. I don't need to do all that. But I saw a video of him doing curls. I screen recorded, I sent it to you. I was like, that's the craziest shit I've ever seen.
You know
I wish I could get there one
frustrating as a bodybuilder?
Wow.
Is he sent me that video. He looks insane. I've seen him on stage.
Tiny. Looks tiny.
And just looked washed out.
I know.
Light and everything.
Yes, and maybe I just don't get on stage. I just record the crazy videos up close with the right camera and the right angles.
So like
get onto KiloCast.
Those last few kilos.
Those
last few kilos. Those last few months of cutting. And then like the first few months after cutting.
Yeah.
You probably have like 8 months there where you are absolutely diced.
Yeah. But yeah, the video I sent you was actually 2 weeks out. Yeah. So it's funny the comparison of how you look on a stage versus how you, but I think all the footage from a stage is so far away and it's not like good quality cameras.
Because every time I see Bumstead on stage, he looks good because it's like the best quality cameras and it's right there.
Yeah, and it's like super close. Yeah. So I think, because then I see like natural bodybuilders in the gym, I'm like, in person, you look crazy.
Yeah.
Like you actually look, so whenever I'm saying like natural bodybuilders, they kind of look small and blah, 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 I think that's always me saying it from looking at them on stage.
Yeah.
And on stage, it's like a shit quality camera and it's real far away. And they do look small. Yeah, they look small in that setting. But in person, look crazy.
They look great.
And I would love to experience that like one time.
You know who came fourth at a bodybuilding show on the weekend? Larry Wheels.
Man, did he not win? He won. I heard he won. And people were pissed.
Yeah, sorry. He won
his category and then came fourth
overall. And then all I seen was like, Larry Wheels comes fourth in Ireland. All the comments were like, how the fuck did he come fourth?
What was he doing in Ireland? What was there showing up? Because there was loads of people.
I think he was trying to get the pro card.
In Southside, loads of half naked like juiced up bodybuilders walking around, and I was like, yo,
What's going on?
What's going on here? Yeah, crazy. Crazy that he was in Ireland. But yeah, I want to get like super jacked and lean.
Do it.
Yeah, we will.
You are super jacked, just gotta,
Man, definitely body dysmorphia. Definitely
I
body
think so.
dysmorphia.
I think so.
What non-lifting skill has made you a better lifter? Nutrition. Yeah. Learning how to track, and that's one thing that I've noticed over this period of the deficit. Honestly, it's been so easy. It's been really easy for me to do. Similar, like the actual execution of the deficit and the execution of the surplus have always been like really easy. It's like I don't know. It's like if I just decide I want to go up in body weight or I want to go down in body weight, it's like really easy to do because I had like the foundational kind of practices in place in my nutrition. So I think developing those skills and habits has probably been the most beneficial thing for lifting. Other than that, non-lifting skill. Yeah, nutrition is probably the biggest thing that comes to mind. Anything about like coordination, proprioception. You hear those topics about like people who don't do sports and get into powerlifting compared to people who have done sports and got into powerlifting. What's your whole take on that scenario?
It's like it sounds like we're kind of fallaciously connecting them. It's like maybe, and there's probably a correlation. However, I bet a lot of the world champs are computer nerds and never play a sport.
Yeah.
I don't think it guarantees anything.
Two things come to mind there. There was a book that I read / listened to recently. I always feel weird when I'm like, I was listening to this book. But a book I was listening to on like range as opposed to like hyper-specialization. And it was talking about the difference between Roger Federer and Tiger Woods. Whereas Tiger Woods, like his parents like had him super specialize in golf. He was on like TV shows, like hitting the golf ball into a fucking whatever from when he was like 3 years old. And he was like always hyper specialized to do golf. Became one of the most successful golfers in the world. Golfeth. He became one of the best golfers in the world. And then Roger Federer. Apparently his parents or his mum was a tennis coach, but he played. He played football, he played tennis, he played loads of things. I think one of the quotes was he said like he always had balls in his hand.
Hell yeah.
No matter what he was doing, he always had balls in his hand. But he played loads of different sports, and his parents, like, one of their stances were, we're not going to force him into doing this thing. And then eventually he decided this is what he wanted to kind of express his talents through. But it was comparing the difference between people who hyper specialize really early on and then people who have more of a generalized skill set, and then later down the line they double down on a specific avenue and which is more beneficial and yada yada yada. So that's an interesting topic to explore. Obviously both can be successful. It was talking about the different types of activity where it could be successful. So if it's something that's like a little bit more binary perhaps, like golf, as opposed to tennis where there's more variables, there's more things that can change. That's interesting. There's also, I was watching a NASCAR thing, and there's a guy who is like really competitive. I think the way that the NASCAR stuff works, basically it's just like fast driving. You go through like a tournament and there's like 12 people and then 4 get knocked out and then another 4 get knocked out and then it's like the final 4. So this guy's really good. He keeps ending up in like the final 4, but he never drove when he was like growing up. So a lot of the people start off in like go-karts and then you go through the ranks of the go-karts and da. This guy started driving in an e-simulator, so on a computer. So just with like the fucking computer game version, and he then transitioned from the computer game into NASCAR, and he's one of the most successful drivers. And everyone was like, there's no, like, if you had said this 10 years ago, people you would have laughed like out of the room. Whereas now he started doing his e-racing and then got to the very top of NASCAR from that.
It's different ways to skin a cat, man.
Anyway,
this is going to be an abstract comparison, but it's like language. It's like before we were like, what's it called now that the world is all like interconnected?
Interconnected.
Globalization.
Something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that it's all like globalized and like it's so multicultural in every country. Before then, think about hundreds of years ago. I don't know how many years you need to go back, but every language came up by itself, and they all do the same thing for the most part. Obviously, there's differences in the tiny intricate details. But they all can communicate the same thing.
True.
They all got there separate, and it's like if you told 10 people they need to do something with 0 instructions and no access to the internet or something, they had to get books or whatever. They'd talk to people, and you gave them a year and they came back, and you'd probably see a range of things, but they all got it done.
Yeah,
I think. Obviously, it depends on the task. Some tasks are so specific that you would need a certain thing to do. Yeah. But even then, if you gave people like 1,000 years, you'd probably see a few different ways to do it.
Yeah, didn't that happen with like maths and stuff as well? Like there's different cultures have different ways of doing maths and different like formulas and different whatnot.
It's interesting, isn't it? So yeah, they're really fun stories about like high level athletes in different fields,
who
achieving things completely differently,
different paths.
I think we just have a bias, of like, he was athletic, he's going to be good. It's like maybe, and maybe there is a strong correlation between people who are athletic and then achieving something in a new sport, but it doesn't rule out people who weren't athletic being successful.
Yeah,
that's.
Is there anyone that comes to mind who powerlifting is like their first sport that is really good? I don't know. I don't know enough about people.
I think it's probably like people who were athletic enough to be good at sport are probably just athletic enough to be good at powerlifting when they start. And then the people who didn't stick around at sports are probably people who just don't like sports. Yeah. Yeah. And so they won't be good in powerlifting. So
yeah. Yeah, I like that. What's the best advice you ever ignored?
Does anything come to mind for you?
Me bulking. Yeah, there was a guy bulking that I should be bulking and I didn't. I like for like 2 years. I ignored.
So you're saying what's good advice that you didn't take?
Yeah.
I thought the question was what's the best like ignoring you've done? Like, what's the worst advice on?
Let's do both. I don't know why that's the one that first came to mind for me. Maybe it's because it was more prevalent. Yeah. But there was a guy that I trained with when I was like 16, and he was on the Irish team at the time, and he kept telling me like, you need more muscle, like you're too small, and I was like, nah, brother, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm gonna add 200 kilos to my total at 93, and I'm gonna be great. And he would slag me and he'd fucking bully me to get bigger. And then I'd never do it. And then eventually I got bigger. And he was like, it only took 2 years of me fucking bullying you. And now look at you. Now look how good you're doing. And I was like, why did I not listen sooner? Why? Why was I so naive to just not listen to the people who have come before me? Yeah. But there's like, that's the topic I've heard discussed recently as well. They're like, how we just need to go through our own mistakes to learn stuff. Mm-hmm. Like there's such a wealth of information out there, of warnings, stuff in movies, like all of these universal mistakes and lessons that are out there that people just have to fuck it up themselves before they acknowledge it. Why do we do that? Why can we not learn from, I don't know, all the history that's out there? And then there's some quote about like a smart person learns from their own mistakes, and then a wise person learns from the mistakes of others, or something like that.
It's tough, though.
It is, because like, is there something to do with experiencing that? Yeah, it like impacts the learning, the learning process of what's going on. Why do we need? Why do we need like the physical like burning our hand to know that fire's hot?
I'm gonna say that without forming this like associative long-term memory, right, through the amygdala specifically, which forms these like associations when you're learning information with the emotion or feeling that you had when you were learning. And so, let's say you touch fire, and then you also experience the intense pain and burning. So they then become linked. And so you learn it really strong, that this feeling is associated with this knowledge. Whereas if you just learn that touching the fire hurts, it's like, okay, you probably know what pain feels like in other ways, so you might connect them, but it's really weak, and it's like, okay, I don't really know, I've just been told.
Yeah.
The
Tony Robbins.
Go.
That's just like a premise I've heard him speak about before, because he does these like big like in-person seminar experience things, but he gets people to like do something physical when they're talking about a certain topic, so that they like link the experience of the idea with like a sensation, so that there's like a stronger connection as opposed to just hearing something. I'd need to listen to him talk about it more to like convey it better. But like linking like a physical experience with that kind of mental idea.
Yeah.
And how that's way more powerful, or like commits stuff to memory far more than just hearing about it.
That's
interesting.
There was a cool thing. I was studying learning and memory, and that's why I brought up the amygdala. But it's a cool patient that had some disease that led to her having a bilateral focal amygdala lesion, which is just both sides of her brain, just her amygdala was gone. Okay, so that's rare.
Yeah.
And essentially, she had no physiological fear response to anything external. So snakes, rats, spiders, horror house, horror movies, jump scares wouldn't elicit any fear response that we have. And so they thought, okay, amygdala is the whole fear response. Nothing, you can't have fear without the amygdala. She said she doesn't like spiders, but as soon as she had it, nothing happened.
Fine.
Whereas I know when you see a spider or something, like, your body like, FFF, fight, flight, or freeze, whatever.
Fight, flight, or fuck.
Spiders getting buggy. Anyway, making some Spider-Man. Okay. Anyway, she did have a response to internal stimuli, which was, I don't know what sadistic fuck thought of doing this to her. Well, she obviously signed up for it and everything. But they hooked her up to a CO2 mask. So you suffocate when you inhale CO2.
Yeah.
And when she suffocated, you saw those physiological responses of fear. So something internal, it's like the body's instinctual, but also subconscious response. It's like you don't need to even decide not to suffocate. Your body stops you suffocating in any way it can. And so that elicited the response. Whereas that like fight or flight response or freeze is learnt. We have to learn that you have to run away from these things. But like, you just put a baby beside a bear that hasn't learnt that tall, big, loud things are scary. It's just going to be like, oh, a dog. You know, it's fine. But if you suffocate a baby, it will react.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the amygdala isn't responsible for that. The amygdala is specifically responsible for the associative learning of sensations, emotions, and knowledge.
This has led me on to a thought. Is that the case? Is that definitely the case? I would love to know if that's like studied, and you can probably tell me. Like, is there people who have innate fears of like a spider or a bug? Or do you have to be taught that a spider or a bug is not good? Like, is there like some sort of like evolutionary process of we learned over thousands of years that snake bites you, Jimmy's now dead, stay away from the snake? Is there anything that can be passed down, like hereditary, like understanding of these things are generally bad? Because no one's scared of like a flower. No one's inherently scared of a flower. But I feel like people could have an inherent fear of like something big. Like, do you know, if you make like a loud noise around a baby, they'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, is there something? Is there some like evolutionarily that we're like, okay, we know to stay away from this kind of thing? Like, I don't know, like some animals, I don't know, like a rat or something. You feel like they'd just be real crafty because everyone's trying to kill them all the time. So they'd just be real like shifty. How do they know to do that? How do they know to be cautious? Or like how some animals are like evolved where they have like camouflage and things like that.
They're really good examples. Yeah. I'm going to say that it's extremely difficult to remove the influence of your environment and, say, parents or familial learning and modeling and things like that.
I thought you were just going to bust out with Spanish, like familia.
You might have a little white boy. Yeah,
you just get a little spicy with it.
It's really difficult to remove. So even if you brought a baby in that was like 6 months into a lab, they have still experienced their parents' response to things. Yeah. So subtle that, like, let's say a loud noise happens and the mom responds, just goes, the baby starts to pick that up subconsciously, and it just learns these associations. There was studies back in the day. They are more ethically sensitive now, where they would bring a baby in and just like expose it to scary things. I know.
Bring back the old studies, man.
And it's tough because even like if a baby reacts, it's like it's almost impossible to say that they didn't pick any of that up. I would go out on a whim and say that definitely certain stimuli. So I would say like a very sudden loud stimuli is arousing to the point that so that's what's been passed down evolutionary, is that like something that's sudden and distracting. That's why we have like selective attention, but your brain still processes stimuli and only alerts you if it deems something relevant. And so I would bet that, say, a loud noise is relevant regardless. And a baby would go, what is that? But it might not have a fear response until it learns that loud noise typically is associated with something happening. Though I wouldn't say like you don't have any instinctive fears other than like internal, like that, choking, suffocating, maybe loud noises. I'm even not pushed on that one, but I don't think anything like spiders or snakes, though what you're saying is right, that like that's still passed down, is like
through behaviors.
And man, from the time a baby is young, it's reading books with snakes as the bad guy. It's watching shows where people screaming there's a snake, and their mom and dad are like, "Oh, the snake, Teddy." So immediately they're already consuming that.
Interesting.
So it is passed down through human society, but not maybe neurologically, more so like behaviorally.
Again, in the nutrition course, something that I learned was a story around tests that were done, I think it was in the Netherlands, around World War II period, where there was like significant...
There's a lot of tests done back then on people.
there was significant like food shortages. So your body goes into like a certain... it's basically trying to conserve energy as much as possible. And it was studying children who were born through that period. So the parents' bodies were in this environment where there was shortages of food. Like their hormone production was reflecting that. The children who were born with like elevated hormone levels that made it more difficult to lose weight. Basically, they were born into an environment that was expected to have a shortage of food.
Of calories.
But then post-war, there was more food available. Essentially the levels of their metabolism made it much more difficult for them to lose body weight equivalent to people who were born in different eras because of their
body was like efficient at eating very little.
But then they're exposed to more food essentially, so their like resting metabolic rate was different to what would be expected of the average for different people. So that is passed down essentially. Super interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, so something about the famine in a certain country after World War II or during World War II.
Yeah.
And then the next generations had all sorts of fucked up kind of body stuff going on.
Fucked up.
I don't know how to describe it. Their bodies are just fucked up, man.
So our grandparents basically.
Yeah. Right. Is there one more good one? Actually, what is the one to answer your interpretation of the question about the best advice that you've ignored?
So it was good advice and I ignored it.
No, it was bad advice and it was good that you ignored it.
That's a shitty interpretation by me, because I think, how do you know it's bad advice? It's like basically, what have you been told to do that was stupid?
What are some stupid things you've been told how to do? No, okay, I actually know one.
Probably get out of the warm-up room.
I remember being told earlier on, like, don't train your arms. Like, you don't need to train your biceps because it's like non-functional mass for powerlifting. Yeah, you just don't need to train your arms. Like, it's stupid. Why would you train your arms? Or I was doing hip thrust once and I was told, like, okay, this is so dumb in hindsight. The person was like, why are you doing hip thrust? That's so pointless. It's not going to carry over to powerlifting. The only thing hip thrusts are good for is riding fat birds. That's what this guy told me. Okay, and this was the powerlifting coach in the gym. This was I was like 16 years old, and this was the powerlifting coach. And that's what he told me. And I was like, what? What the fuck?
Do you want to put his name out there?
He's gone now. He doesn't, he's nothing to do with powerlifting anymore.
What was his name?
He was, no, I won't expose him like that.
That's crazy.
But he was like a conjugate. He was like a conjugate lifter. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm sure he
that's insane. Man, put the name out there.
You can't be saying that, though. You can't be saying that.
You can't be saying that at all.
You can't be saying that at all.
So I want you to put the name out there. Put him on roast.
Nah.
Bro starts getting like 12-year-olds like comeback of that. People coming into his inbox now. Yeah, probably things like,
I can't believe, and I remember that so vividly.
There's 3 exercises that come to mind, and I still see shit like this come up sometimes. Is okay. I'll start in the leg extension. Is someone was telling me like to turn your feet certain ways, hit a certain part of your quads, and then the other one was where to put your feet on the leg press to recruit your hamstrings. Bro, Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Anything exciting or wonderful coming up? Anything to look forward to?
I'm going to Germany to
Oh,
coach at Worlds. We probably have some friends visiting us.
Yeah.
Just after that, actually.
Yeah.
I was talking to them. Could have them on there.
Yeah. Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
Could do.
Yeah. Specifically the Irish one.
Yeah.
The ginger one.
Yeah.
New guest.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Easy
That's
peasy.
the only spectacular thing going on.
Excellent.
I technically don't need to do an August comp anymore because they adjusted
They
it.
changed the thing to
Yeah.
add in the extra comps.
Yeah, because if the qualifying period for 2024 ended in August, then the comps after that have to count for this year. Because they originally said they only count from nationals. So then there's a period where comps just didn't count for anything, which throws away numbers.
Hell yeah. That's my boy.
Yeah, it puts me in a position where I might even qualify for something else, but I'll talk to you about that after.
Boom! Okay, it's perfect. We'll leave it there. That's
Yeah.
exciting. A little bit of a... Yeah.
We'll talk
Crumbs
about it
for
next episode.
the people. Excellent. Oh, I'm excited
Do you
to
have
hear
anything
about that.
going on you want to say?
Nothing. I'm just going climbing.
Yeah. Right now?
And I'm still lifting.
Oh, okay.
I'm still lifting. I'm still training 6 days a week. I'm still grinding out here.
Lifting 6 days?
Yeah.
And swimming
And climbing.
That's
Yeah, man,
crazy.
it's like sports day. I go
It
swim in the
is.
morning, I go do my lifting,
Yeah.
and then I go for a climb afterwards.
Yeah.
And then I do some handstands
Yeah.
and some kip-ups and backflips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flying.
Did you say you bring an axe to climbing? What did you say you were doing?
What the fuck
Did you not bring an axe when you're climbing?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I didn't know what you meant when you said climb axe. You sent me a video. I still haven't opened it.
That was too high level. I had no idea what you were talking about there.
Oh, God! That's gross.
Okay.
All right.
That's a wrap. I hate this guy. No, I love him. I love him. See you in the next one.
Oh, yeah.